Okay, welcome everyone. Today's topic is advanced tips on making offers. Okay, so guess what? This is super important topic because you're going to be making money in real estate only when you engage in three activities. Number one is talking to sellers. Number two, talking to listing agents or brokers. And number three, making offers. The rest, any other activity that you engage in real estate, it's considered overhead. It might need to be done, but guess what? You've got to focus most of your time, over 80% of your time, on those three activities: talking to owners, listing agents, and making offers. That's so critical. That's why we put a lot of effort into making that super easy. Okay, so the first thing that you need to understand is you're going to be making offers on properties that, depending on your exit strategy, whether you're going to do a flip or a buy and hold or a wholesale, you're going to have different strategies. Okay, so let's focus on two exit strategies. We're going to have a buy and hold and a fix and flip. Okay, so when making an offer, that was one of my biggest stressors when I got into real estate. Okay, so I see a property, and then now what? I see the asking price, but the question is, how much am I supposed to pay for the property? That was my biggest issue, my biggest concern. So I'm going to give you a tip, super, super critical. So when you look at a property, we're going to look at some properties from the MLS. So we can make an offer in like seconds, okay? So this is the key. You're going to be seeing properties that I'm going to show you, but the question is, how much should you pay for the property? So when you look at a property, there are three things that you need to take into account. Forget about what they're asking for a minute. So you're going to need to know, number one, make sure you write these down. It's only a few things that you're going to need to write down. The ARV, the after repair value. So how much will you be able to sell the property once all the rehab is done on that property? Okay. In order for us to do that, we have to pull some comps from the MLS of properties that have been rehabbed in the last 6 months within a 1 mile radius. Okay, super important. There are some exceptions where you can go beyond 6 months, maybe up to 9 months, depending on the location. But for the most part, appraisers go as far as 6 months back. Okay, and then the 1 mile radius is pretty standard among appraisers, but you've got to be careful because when you are in the city of Chicago, property values may change from one block to another one. So you've got to be aware of pockets. Okay, there are certain pockets that will drastically change your offer. So number one that you need to understand is my ARV. How much will I be able to sell the property for? Okay. The second number that you need before even thinking about making an offer is my rehab. How much am I going to spend on the property? So let me give you the rule of thumb. Okay, this works amazing. To be able to compute your rehab estimate, take the square footage of the property. Okay, we typically look at 3 bedrooms or 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 2 baths. Okay, so the average square footage for a 3 bedroom is going to be somewhere between 1,500 to 1,700 square feet. Okay, that's simple. Now, we typically look for properties in B neighborhoods, sometimes A minus neighborhoods. Okay, so A being the most expensive, B being the most challenging neighborhood. So when you focus on B, A neighborhoods, this formula that I'm going to give you is going to work incredibly well. So take the square footage and multiply that by 2. So for instance, if it's a 3 bedroom that is 1,700 square feet, multiply that times 2. So the rehab estimate is going to be 1,700 times 2. It's how much? 34,000. Exactly. Now, you're going to need to add a cushion of 5 to 10,000. So 34,000 plus a 10,000 cushion, that's going to be 44,000. And this is considered a medium rehab. Now, what do we mean by medium rehab? Very simple. When you look at a property, there are two rooms that you need to pay attention first: kitchen and bathrooms. That's it. So if you need to update the kitchen and the bathroom, meaning that you need to tour the kitchen cabinets, change all the appliances, you need to redo the entire bathroom, by default, that's considered a medium rehab, okay? So the formula that I just told you applies 100%, super accurate. Now, a light rehab means that when you look at a bathroom and a kitchen, if you don't need to change the kitchen cabinets, if you don't need to redo the entire bathroom, that you can get away with just painting the kitchen cabinets or changing the vanity, the mirror, the light fixture in the bathroom. If you can get away with that, that's considered a light rehab, okay? So when you have a light rehab, it's going to be at least 15,000 out of the box for a property that is 1,700 square feet, but you still have to add the cushion of 5,000, not 10,000, but 5,000. So at least out of the box is going to be 20,000, okay? Now, why do I emphasize kitchen and bathrooms? Because guess what? You're gonna need to touch the rest, meaning the living room, the dining room, and the bedrooms. You're gonna need to do the flooring, the paint, some hopefully light fixtures. You're gonna need to do some light electric and light plumbing, and perhaps some light HVAC, okay? That's the ideal property. We highly recommend that you stay away from gut rehabs. Gut rehabs is where you come into a property and all you see is the studs. Everything is stripped out. You need to do all plumbing, all electric, drywall, insulation, HVAC, windows, roof. Please stay away from those because you're gonna take on 7 to 9 months in that kind of project. Plus, you have to have the right crew to be able to take on that project. You're going to be dealing with a lot of inspectors, villages, licensed contractors. So you're opening up a lot of kind of worms. So stay away from them. Stick to medium to light rehab. In my experience, out of all the properties we've done, only 5 to 10% have been light rehab. So we've been very lucky. And the rehab was 15 to 20,000 for a light rehab. Okay. So most of the rehabs for a 3-bedroom or 2-bedroom that are medium, meaning that we're redoing the kitchen and the bathroom, is going to run between 30 to 50,000. Okay. That's including a cushion of $10,000 because there's always unexpected issues that are going to arise in the rehab. It could be plumbing, it could be electric, it could be HVAC, it could be roof, it could be windows, it could be foundation. You never know until you start the rehab. That is why you always have to have that cushion. Okay. So now we covered the ARV and the rehab. Okay. So those are the key rule of thumbs. Now the next point, and most important, is how much are you going to offer for the property. So make sure you write this formula down. You're going to take the ARV. Let's assume that the ARV for a property is 200,000. So you're going to take the ARV and you're going to multiply that times 70%. Okay. So 70% of 200,000 is 140,000. So now we're going to subtract the rehab estimate. So let's assume the rehab is going to be 40,000. So guess what? How much do you think you're going to be able to make an offer for? I mean, the most you should pay for that property is going to be 140 minus 40, 100,000. That's simple. So the most you should offer for that property is 100,000. Now, with this formula that I just shared with you, you are going to be able to make a successful flip and a successful buy and hold. Now, let me tell you, you have 3 exit strategies: wholesaling, flipping, and buy and hold. The most forgiving is buy and hold. What does that mean? That you can afford to pay a little bit more. Well, guess what? Because when you do the formula for the buy and hold, you don't multiply the ARV times 70. You're going to multiply that times maybe 75 or 80. But guess what? As a rule of thumb, we never do that. We always, regardless of the exit strategy, multiply the ARV times 70. You know why? Because in the past, our initial approach was to buy and hold, okay? Well, guess what? If later you change your mind and you want to sell the property, right? Guess what? You're doing a flip. So you should be able to have at least two successful exit strategies. The buy and hold, which is the easier one and the most forgiving, where you can afford to pay a little bit more. Well, guess what? If you pay the right price for the property, guess what? If you change your mind and you don't want to buy and hold, you can sell the property for a profit. So now let me explain to you why you have to multiply the ARV times 70%. So what happens to the other 30%? 20% is going to be considered your profit. When you do a flip, you must make at least a 20% return from the price you sell the property. Example, if you sell the property for 200,000, guess how much you need to make? 20% of 200,000 is 40,000. You heard me right. You've got to be able to make 40,000 on the flip when you sell a property for 200,000. If you're not making 40,000 on the flip, you should not even take on the flip, or you might have overpaid for the property. You've got to make 20% return. And then the other 10% is going to be your carrying costs or holding expenses. What are those? When you buy a property and you're going to repair it, or you're going to buy and hold, guess what? You're going to incur carrying costs such as the cost of money. You're borrowing money, so you're paying interest. You're paying taxes. You're paying insurance. You're paying utilities. Okay, gas, water, electric, when you're fixing the property, okay? So those are your carrying costs. That is why you need to multiply the ARV times 70%, and to that number, you're gonna subtract the rehab. So I just explained to you behind the curtains what the formula is, okay? But let me give you my $1 million secret. From the purchase price, you need to have a spread of 80 to 100,000. So if the property is, for instance, for sale for 140,000, guess what? All you need to do is add 80 to 100,000 to it. So that's my first rule of thumb. So if they're asking for 140, it better appraise for 240 or 220, and the rehab should be less than 50,000. If that is the case, you've got a great deal, okay? So now those are the three numbers that you need to understand before making an offer. Making an offer takes 2 seconds, okay, in ChicagoDealVault. But before making an offer, you've got to understand how much you're going to offer, okay? So again, let me recap because this is super important. You need three numbers: ARV, number two, the rehab estimate, and number three, how much you're going to pay for the property, and that is the ARV times 70 minus the rehab. Okay, super simple. So now, once you got the numbers down, because math is math, then let's go ahead and make an offer. So let me show you. We're going to look for some properties in on the MLS. Okay, so for instance, I'm going to look in Wholesale, Berkeley, Glendale Heights. Those are some of the top rental markets. So let me share my screen before I make these. Okay, so I will share my screen for everyone to see what I'm doing. Share. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to do a search for Berkeley, Wholesale, any of those great rental markets. I'm going to do Berkeley because Berkeley is probably number one. Berkeley. Okay. Actually, just to keep it simple, I'm gonna pick just the first one, Addison, okay? And then typically, the purchase price should be less than 200,000, so I'm gonna put 200,000 right here. And then I'm gonna scroll down and click on the type of property. We're gonna be looking for single family homes. Okay, so I scroll down and then active listings, you have the option to pending, contingent, sold. We just care about active listings and then single family home. Let me scroll down to the bottom to show you. All you need to do is click on find deals. We are searching the MLS live. So we have a live stream access to the MLS. So we're getting here Berkeley single family homes, okay? Okay, so I believe I selected also condos. Okay, so I'm just gonna take one property to give you an idea. Okay, so let me view this property so that we go through the exercise of making an offer. So let's look at this example. The ARV, the asking price for this property is $119,000. Okay, it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Now, right here is the ARV, 166,000. Okay, so let's just round this up, 165,000. Now, the square footage, we don't know what the square footage of this is. For a 2-bedroom, you're looking at maybe 1,100 square feet. So what's the rehab estimate on this? Let's quickly take a look at the pictures. Remember, what are you going to be focusing on? The kitchen and the bathroom. So let's quickly take a look. This looks pretty nice. That's the living room. But forget about the living room and the dining room and the rest of the rooms. We want to focus on the kitchen and the bathroom. So look at this, the kitchen. The kitchen, we can reuse both the kitchen cabinets and the appliances. Okay, this would be perfect for a rental. If you were to do a flip on this condo, you would need to change the appliances to make them stainless steel. You would also need to upgrade the countertop to make it granite or quartz. Okay, now these kitchen cabinets could be painted, and that's it. So this is perfect for a rental. You wouldn't need to do anything for a rental. For a rental, this is perfect. Okay. So right here, this looks pretty good. Now the next room that I want to see is the bathroom. Okay, so we don't care about the spacing when it comes to the rehab because we're gonna need to touch it perhaps. So let's go to the next one. So we're now looking into the bedrooms. Here's a bathroom. So the bathroom looks pretty decent. Okay, so again, you don't need to do much to this property. So now look at this. ChicagoDealVault is gonna tell you the most you should pay for this property. Okay, if you were to do a flip, you will need to pay 101. If you will need to do a rental, 118. Okay, that is taking into account that we're gonna put in $15,000 to $23,000. But guess what? Based on the condition of this condo, we're not gonna put 15 to 23,000. I mean, if we put 5,000, it's quite a lot because we don't need to do anything to the kitchen nor the bathroom for a buy and hold. So we're gonna need to put back, I would say, at least 10 to 15,000 into this offer. So the most we should offer would be, I'm gonna take the flip price. Remember, the flip price. I'm gonna take the 101, but I'm gonna add 15,000 to it because we're not gonna spend 20,000 on the rehab. So I'm gonna we should put an offer for maybe 115, and we should be able to do both a flip and a rental for this property. Okay. So guess what we're gonna do? Let's make an offer on this property because we know the math, right? So we know the ARV, 166. We know the rehab based on the pictures. It's no more than 5,000 since we don't need to do anything to the bathroom and the kitchen. So the next step is we know our numbers, okay? And you can do it with the calculator. Take 165 times 70. That'll be, it's about 100, over 120 or so. minus the rehab. But again, so the formula, it's already done for you on the max allowed offer. So the next step is make an offer. So right here, it says make offer, this button that is below the upload images. So right here, make offer. So in here, all you need to know is three numbers. How much are we going to offer? So we know we need to get this on the contract for 115,000. It's listed for 119. Let's make an offer for 110. Okay, 110. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna close in maybe 3-4 weeks. So let's push it for, let's say, January 29. Okay, and we're gonna buy these as is. And then now let me explain to you the dual agency. The dual agency means that if you're a broker, you can give up your commission for the listing agent to represent you, but you don't typically do that unless this is an awesome deal where the listing agent gets to keep two sides of the commission. And we've done that before. I'm a managing broker. I've given up my commission in exchange for getting the deal. So I tell the listing agent, listen, keep my commission. So we're going to do dual agency. You represent me in the transaction. So that instead of them keeping 2.5% of the sale price, they get to keep 5%. So it's not a big deal. On this deal, what? How much am I going to lose? Maybe 2,000-3,000, but in exchange, I get the deal. So I love to do dual agency. In this case, if you're not a broker, that's an awesome strategy. Let the listing agent take both sides of the commission. So dual agency, as is, they're gonna love it. Okay, when you do as is, that means that you're taking the property as is because it looks in very good condition and you can afford to pay less for the property. Okay, but it's not necessary. This is optional if you want to do the as is. So what it means is that once you make an offer, if it gets accepted, if you have the as is clause, that means that you are giving up your inspection review and attorney review. Okay, it's 5 days that you have to do an inspection and attorney review after the offer gets accepted. So when you select the as is, you're giving that up. Okay, so unless it's an awesome deal, you don't want to do that. So I always like to not do the as is, but oftentimes the listing agent is going to say, listen, we're selling the property as is. We're not going to make we're not going to give you any credits. What you see is what you get. So it depends on the property. If I'm making a lowball offer, I'm going to say as is. So let me give you an example. In this case, they're listing it for 119. So if I make an offer for 105, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to mark the as is. Okay, so the way the property looks, the way I'm taking it. You know, it's a condo, not a big deal. So earnest money, I always like to put it as 1% of the purchase price. So in this case, 1,500, 1,200, just leave it at 1,500. And that's pretty much it. Okay, now if you scroll down, we have other contingencies right here. So in this case, you always want to, on the sales contract, do a rehab loan, okay? And then you are going to get 90% finance. So you're going to put down 10%. That's always the standard. So always aim for a rehab loan, 90% loan to value. So you're going to put 10% down, okay? And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to submit, and that's going to generate the contract automatically in seconds, okay? So in here, I'm going to scroll down and then click on submit offer. What it does is that it's going to generate the 7.0 contract, okay? So it's generating that on the fly for you in seconds. For those of you who are a real estate broker, it's going to take you 5 to 10 minutes to generate the offer. Through ChicagoDealVault, it just takes seconds, okay? So what we're going to do is you can have your real estate broker present the offer on your behalf, okay? Or if you're a real estate broker, obviously you can represent yourself. And guess what? You are going to get an email with the offer in your inbox. So it is that simple to generate the offer. So the key, friends, is making offers. Now the question is, are you going to be searching the MLS on a daily basis? Perhaps yes, perhaps no. So I'm going to give you a tip. You can set up deal alerts. So let me show you in ChicagoDealVault on the upper right hand corner, you have right here deal alerts setting. Okay, so in here, very simple. Put in the type of property, single family home, two flat or townhome, or all of them, and then the maximum asking price. In this case, our limit is 200,000, and then put the cities that you're interested in. Okay. So what we've done is we put in the top flipping markets and the top rental markets in our searching criteria. Once you do that, right here we have a tab called My Deal Alerts. So we're going to be scanning the MLS on a daily basis, few hours a day. When a deal comes that matches your investment criterion, we're going to send it via email, or it's going to show up in your deal alerts. Okay. So like Allsip, right? Allsip is a great neighborhood. So here we have multiple deal alerts from the MLS that you can further review. And then make an offer if you need to. But again, I just want to make sure that you understand how simple it's to make an offer. Just click on make offer, and you need to provide three numbers: your purchase price, your closing date, and then your earnest money. The closing date, give yourselves 4 to 6 weeks. That's simple. And then again, the as is optional. You don't have to give up your right for inspection and attorney review, unless it's like a super distressed property. Other than that, you never want to give that up, because once you make an offer and the offer gets accepted, guess what happens? You have 5 days to do inspection and attorney review. So you're going to bring an inspector. The inspector is going to create a report for all the issues in the property. And guess what? You can use that report to get credit from the seller. We've done that many, many times. So we find issues in the property, and then we show that to the seller. Hey, there are so many issues in your property that we need to adjust the purchase price, or you can give us credit. Okay. So it is a great idea to always do a home inspection. And then obviously you need to give your attorney 5 days for review. Okay. Now, when you're buying properties off market, right, like pre-foreclosures, bank-owned properties, everything that you buy is as is. Okay, the seller will never give you a credit, so it's as is. But when you're dealing with the MLS, you get to get credits from the seller. Okay, because not all the properties are distressed. Some of them, as you saw, the one that we're looking at, is in livable and moving condition. Okay. So, friends, let's just recap. I see that Frank has arrived. So we're going to have Frank Montro give us an inside competitive advantage of what it takes to be successful in 2021 when it comes to making offers. And he's going to give us an inside look at 2021, an update on the economy, okay, and how you need to approach it. Hey, Frank, welcome.
Hi guys, how you doing? Hello, I'm in my car. Sorry, I'm just getting out of a meeting. Doing the best I can to Jimmy rig this, so I don't have the best angle of my beautiful face, but you guys will have to suffer. So welcome, guys. Hey, I wanted to give you some real simple tips, and really just to focus on how do I get a deal when I'm in a multiple offer situation? How do I improve my chances? How do I almost bulletproof my chances of getting? How do I stand out? First and foremost, guys, number one is communication. So when you have a client that's interested in me writing, immediately, and when I mean immediately, call the agent up and tell the agent we have investor writing on this deal right now will have the contract for you by such and such time. Is that okay? Because you need to find out is if he may be or he or she may be in the process of already what do you call it? Uh, in a highest and best situation. So you need to find you need to find out, are there other investors in there? Is it a highest and best? You want to find, is it a first come first serve, or is, if it's a highest and best situation, I always ask, is it over full price? Because normally a lot of these normally a lot of these REO brokers, they don't want to tell you where it's at because they feel uncomfortable doing that, and they feel like, well, if I tell one person, I need to tell everybody. So, but I always ask, hey, look, are you, are the offers over list? And then normally, normally if I get them talking about it, I can get them to give me some information. Like, oh man, it's, we're 20,000 over list. Oh my, they may get, they may give me the entire information. They may tell me where I need to be, or they may say, look, I can't give you that information. That's fine. But you don't ask, you don't get. So communication, the second, you need to communicate with with the listing agent the second that you get the green light from your client. Before you even write, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to tell the buyer that I need to make a phone call, let them know this, and you need to find out, where are we in the process? Do you have offers on the table? Are you getting ready to accept an offer, or am I the only guy in the lane right now? And how does it work? Are you going to have a highest and best? Am I going to have to wait for 10 days, 5 days, or will you take the first acceptable contract? So those are things that you want to check. Then once you get your contract and you send it off to the listing agent, then you call the office to make sure that they have received your contract. Because a lot of times these contracts can easily go into spam, and they're like, oh, wow, dude, sorry, man. Yeah, okay, if I see it now, it was a spam, but you know what? Too late. Too bad, so sad. I already signed it. I got a contract. So you want to make sure that they got your contract. And then when you if you talk back with a listing agent and say, hey, look, can you look up your email right now and confirm that you have the contract? And then I quickly would go over the terms with them. Hey, look, our offer is, we came in at a couple thousand over, and then I'm going to get into a few other things. But communication, first and foremost, guys, communication is a must. And when I call back, I'm this to tell them I have the contract, I go over the terms, and I'm selling my clients. So what's very, very important is when I put a submit an offer, I'm going to say, listen, Mr. REO broker, you know who I am. Okay, now I've been dealing. More importantly, let me tell you who this buyer is. They've been in the business for 10 years. They've closed over 100 transactions. They know exactly what they're doing. This is a foolproof deal. This isn't somebody that's gonna see, go, change his mind or not get the financing, or not, get rejected for his hard money or cash or whatever he's got. It's, you have to sell. It's your job it's your realtor's job, and hopefully I'm your realtor, to to pave the path. Now if I have a new person, if I have a new investor, I'm going to vet them out, especially if it's a new investor with hard money. I need to find. I want to get information on the investor. So I will tell. Hey, look, this guy's a new investor, but he's under my wings. He's gonna take marching orders from me, and look, he's got a 740 credit score. He's got 80,000 in the bank. He's this, that. So I let the listing agent know that we have a credible buyer here that's going to close. We are competitive. Even if you're a hard money lender, attached to your deal, I have to sell you, because they're more than likely there's going to be cash deals. And that's one of the questions that I'm asked. If it's a multiple offers, I would say, hey, Is your seller, do you have cash offers in? Do you have hard money offers in? What do you have? And then, a lot of times they may say to me, look, I already got a full price cash, and I'm gonna tell my bank to go ahead and take this. I said, yeah, but look, I want you to consider these facts, okay? And then I move on to another thing. I said, listen to me. What we're gonna do is, and I get this with the with the buyers. So I tell my buyers we do one, two, or three things, and that is so the next thing is your down payment. If you're going to put $1,000 down, which most investors do, then you want to make it non-refundable based on your financing only, not on if there's a title issue or whatever, you get your money back. If there's a problem with the seller closing, you get the money back. But you want to let them know, come hell or high water, you're not backing out of the deal. And the stronger your earnest money is, so if you can put $5,000 or $10,000 down, even better. And then if you can put $10,000 down, non-refundable, well, then you got something. I had a buyer once put $50,000 down, and it was a finance deal, and they ended up taking my deal over a cash deal because we were higher. Even though a lot of times they may take the cash deal because they think it's sure, but I sold them the deal. I sold it hard enough so that, and they knew who I was, and they knew that I was going to quarterback this deal through. So you got communications key, right? You've got to be in touch with the lender, down payment, and it's critical that you just can't say regular $1,000 down. You're nobody's doing that anymore. So if you go $1,000 down, you gotta go non-refundable. So and the more earnest money you got, the better. Now, well, one thing you need to do is when you look at the house, you better know what you're doing, and you better not say I want to have an inspection because that's an automatic deal killer. If they see you're going to have a contingency for inspection, they're going to say, now we got too many offers on the table. So unless you're the only offer on the table and nobody else wants to buy it, it's been sitting around for 6 months, then they don't care about the waiver. I mean, about the inspection so much. But if you're in multiple offer situations and you have an inspection clause in there, that is an absolute deal killer. Even when I have listings, wholesale listings, I'm like, okay, that's easy. We eliminate that one, and that's how easy they do. So again, we got the down payment, communication. The other thing too is you want to, if there's any question, another thing we do too is I have the lender call and verify what I just told them. So when they have when they hear from the lender that, hey man, this guy is a beast, man. He's got a 750 credit score, 80 grand in the bank. This guy's approved. All we need is a subject to a title and an appraisal. Then it adds that much more credibility, guys. Another thing that you want to do is, in addition to waiving the inspection, and you do that real simply, is when you go out there, hopefully you know what you're doing, or you meet your contractor out there, and he'll tell you exactly what's right and wrong with it, so you can, with confidence, waive the inspection. If you don't know what you're doing and you waive the inspection, you could be screwed. So, if later you find out there's all these problems, and that does happen. We look through properties all the time. Fortunately, we know what we're doing, so we know right away, oh, here's a foundation issue, or here's, oh, this roof needs to be replaced, the entire roof needs to be torn off, or we need to dig down 2 feet because the basement's so short to bring value. All these things make a difference, guys. So, and one other thing too is you can, if you're in a highest and best situation and you're not getting information, you can do one or two things. You can do an escalation clause, where you beat out the highest offer up to X amount of dollars by $1,000. That's very commonplace. Or you just put your highest and best. Excuse me. A lot of people. Excuse me for a second. A lot of people are just putting their highest and best in. And if we don't get a any information, inside information, then we normally I recommend a highest and best. If you're going to do an escalation clause, here's the key pro tip: check with the listing agent. Is he comfortable with that? A lot of these listing agents don't understand escalation clauses, and they don't want to bother with it. And they think it's hokey. They think it's this. They think it's that. So a lot of times it's just simpler. I just tell, hey, let's just do seamless. Put up 10 grand, non-refundable. Waive the inspection. Waive the commission too. So we don't even take the commission. We give it back to the listing agent to sweeten the deal for because if he's going to be making a decision on on a transaction, most of or a lot of people are waiving the commission. So we actually put ourselves in a bad position. If I take the commission up front on the buy, where I rather get it on the flip on the back end, I have a fighting chance because I know that a lot of agents out there are waiving that. Especially the buy flippers. So that's basically it. Is is jack up your down payment, make it non-refundable. The other thing is speed. So you want to be able to close as fast as possible. If you're cash or your hard money, you have to close within a certain period of time, and you need to find that out from the listing agent. But usually it's by the end of the month, and it's because asset managers that work for the bank, they get paid a bonus for X amount of deals to close. So a lot of times, I'll get a deal like on the 25th, and there's 31 days, and then like, hey man, we got title. Can you close the end of the month? So if you got hard money, odds are most hard money lenders can't close that fast. So odds are you're damn before you start. That'll be a deal killer if you're competing against a cash offer and they can close within that time period. You'll never get the option. So one of the things that you want to do when you hard money hunt is you want to get the guys that can close really, really fast. So that's important. So down payment is important. The speed to close is important. And even if let's say there's no deadline, like end of the month deadline, you want a lender that can close within 2 to 3 weeks. So if they can't close in that time period, you're going to lose out because a lot of asset managers are going to say, why does a hard money lender take 45 days to close? I don't trust them. So you never want to write down anything over 3 weeks on a hard money transaction, because then it brings into question the credibility of the lender. And I know some agents do that just in case something goes wrong. They have themselves protected. However, it's not a good idea when you're in a multiple offer situation. Down payment, speed, waiving the inspection, adding in an escalation clause, or just seamlessly going your highest and best. If you know that there's multiple offers, communicate. Let the listing office know you're alive. Make sure that they know your offer is submitted, and make sure that you have a conversation with them and sell. If you're a real estate agent or you have a real estate agent, have them sell you. Get all of your information together, your credit score, money in the bank, number of deals you've done. If you've never dealt with this guy before and this listing agent doesn't know you, or if he knows you, even better. Hey, we closed that deal last month and we're ready to buy another one. So, we're the real deal. We're already a proven track record. So, you've got to sell yourself in this game. This, the days of easy are over. The days of getting top producing agents on your side are what you need, because there's just so much competition out there, so many investors out there that you just can't you just can't coast your way through anymore. those days are over with. So hopefully, Hugo, hopefully this was helpful, and hopefully you
Yes.
guys got something out of it. And any questions, feel free to call me. If you want to utilize my services, you can always call me too. My number is
Yeah, we're gonna
708.
share your contact information.
Okay. 708-307-0777. Hugo, do you want me for any questions, or are you good with
Um,
me?
we're good, Frank. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay,
Please
thanks, guys.
give a big round of applause to Frank. Thank you, Frank. I know you're on the
Thank you,
go.
guys.
I really appreciate you being able to make it.
You
Thanks,
got it.
Frank.
Take care, everybody. Have a great evening.
Take care. Thank you, you too.
Take
Bye
care.
bye, Frank.
Bye-bye. Thanks. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye, Frank.
Take care.
Bye. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, friends. So that was awesome. That Frank was able to jump in. I know he was in a meeting. He was able to get out of the meeting and then jump on a call with us. So that was awesome. So let me tell you. Let me quickly summarize what Frank said. It's a lot of stuff, a lot of intricacy and details as to how to deal with listing agents and your agent. So let me tell you the way we do it. So even though I'm a managing broker, I can submit offers. Guess what? I don't do that. I send them to Frank. So let me just give you a quick example. Frank has been in the business for 37 years. Okay, so can you imagine how many people he knows? How many real estate brokers, listing brokers, REO brokers he knows? It's a lot, right? So who am I? Even though I have a license, they're not gonna know me, right? Everything is people's business. Is who you know. So let me tell you how we do it. We set up alerts. If we find deals, we know how much we need to pay for the property. Just what I showed you before, the three numbers that you need to know: ARV, rehab, and your max allowed offer. So the way I do is I submit the offer just like I show you. We create the PDF and then we send that to Frank. I send the offer in the PDF with the proof of funds and our articles of incorporation. And then I said, Frank, take it from there. Our maxed offer is this much, and then he gets to work, okay? Because guess what? We made an offer on a Cicero property about a week ago, but I sent that to Frank. I could have submitted that offer myself, but I chose not to. Let me tell you the benefits when you work with the top brokers. He knows a lot of people, so it was a multiple offer situation, and they told Frank, hey, listen, by the way, we made an offer for 100,000 on this property in Cicero. We know that that property would appraise for close to 200, upper 190 or so, 200. So the most we could offer was 100,000 because the rehab was going to be probably 40,000. And then Frank told me, he called me like 3 days later, hey, Hugo, they're in a multiple offer situation, but if you offer 117,000, the deal is yours. Okay, it was way too much for us. We need to stick to our numbers, right? Otherwise, our exit strategy is not going to work. It's going to be too tight. So that's the key advantage when working with the top brokers, right? That they're going to get insider information as to what it takes to get the deal. Okay, so obviously we skip that deal and then we move on. And the same applies for selling the property. Like on a flip that we did, I could have listed the property, right? I was gonna list it for 230. Guess what? I gave it to Frank. He listed it for 250. I was like, Frank, whoa! But I need to trust the pro. So he ended up selling the property for 230. What I was gonna list it for in 3 weeks. So even if you're a broker, I know you're going to be saving on the commission, but it's 100% worth working with the pros. People who've been in the business for over 30 years, it's totally worth it because the savings that you're going to get if you do it yourself, it's not worth it. Believe me, we know the numbers, we have connections, but it's still not good enough when you get to work with somebody with over 35 years of experience. Does that make sense? So he's going to tell me, hey, Hugo, they need this much in earnest money. They need this much asking price. Can you put it together? I'm going to say either yes or no. but he's doing the work. And guess what? It's at no cost to you as the buyer. So even myself, that I can submit offers, I chose not to. Even if I can call the listing agent, I let Frank do the work. Okay. He saves me time, and he's gonna get the deal done. Okay, on both sides, on the purchase and on the listing or selling side. So that's how we work with Frank. And that's how we do pretty much everything, right? Even though we could do a lot of things, we choose to work with the pros, people who all they do is that particular task. In this case, brokerage. Now, there are two questions on the line. They're really good questions. One from Nadia. She's asking what to attach with an offer as a proof of funds when you are using a private money lender, because private money lenders do not provide a loan approval letter and they don't transfer funds before the day of the closing. So how do we show financial credibility when submitting an offer? Nadia, guess what? We have proof of funds from a private money lender. So let me tell you how it works. Talk to your private money lender. So the one that we use, she has an account with Chase. So she went to Chase and then talked to the banker, and the banker issued a proof of funds letter in our name, our company name. So Home First Realty. So it's addressed to Home First Realty. So what the letter states is as follows. The name of the private money lender's company has sufficient liquid funds in the amount of 300,000. Okay, so that letter is given to you by the private money lender. Okay, so that is totally done. Okay, so you can get a proof of funds letter from a private money lender. So the private money lender needs to go to the bank and they can issue the letter on behalf of your entity. Okay, so Nadia, you can get a proof of funds letter from your private money lender. Super important. Another question is, can you still say cash offer to listing agent if you put the rehab contingency at 90%? No, you cannot. So cash offer means you're waiving your mortgage contingency, okay? So you're paying cash, no mortgage contingency. When you're putting a rehab loan for up to 90% of the value of the property, meaning that you're putting 10% down, you have a contingency, right? But when you can say is that we have a mortgage contingency, but we're using a hard money lender or a private money lender. It's sort of like cash when you use hard money lenders because they know you're getting the loan. Okay, obviously you need to have a line of credit or an approval letter or a proof of funds from the hard money lender showing that you've been approved for X amount of dollars. Does that make sense? So yeah, please don't mix. Even though hard money lenders and private money lenders are like cash, when you make an offer, you need to say that you have a mortgage contingency. Verbally, you can specify, I'm using a hard money lender or a private money lender, okay? Because cash offers totally waive the mortgage contingency. So you have no contingency on getting a loan, okay? So great questions. Are there any other questions on the line? So let's quickly summarize what we covered today. You're going to be making money in real estate when you talk to listing agents. In this case, guess what? We're going to in this case, we let Frank do the talking with listing agents. Why? He's got 39 years of experience. Do you think how many brokers he knows? How many of them are his friends? Okay, so we let Frank do the job. And guess what? When Frank has built rapport with so many listing agents, guess what Frank is going to be able to do? He's going to be able to get insider information that is confidential. So Frank is going to be able, or at least he's going to try to get the seller's bottom line. He's going to say, hey, let's say his friend, right? Where do we need to be to make this deal done? Okay, what number do we need to be at? So he's going to try to get that confidential information. Okay, that is why talking to listing agents, you're going to be making money. In this case, let that be done by the pros. Second thing, talking to owners if you're pursuing off-market properties like pre-foreclosures, probates. And number 3, making offers. Okay, super important. You've got to make offers to make money in real estate. And right now, as Frank said, it's a seller's market. There's a shortage of inventory, and then interest rates being so low, affordability is up. So buyers can afford more. Therefore, the pool of buyers is super big. Therefore, they're paying crazy money for property. So it's super competitive, especially when it comes to the MLS. But again, work with the top people, and then you need to know 3 numbers: the ARV, the rehab, and the most you should pay. So the ARV, you need to pull comps in ChicagoDealVault. We have a tab, comps, just click a button and boom, we're gonna give you the comps in seconds. So you get an idea of what the ARV for the property is gonna be. Otherwise, if you're working with Frank or other broker, have them do a CMA, comparative market analysis. They're gonna pull the comps for you. The rehab, you always need to see the property from the inside, but remember the formula that I gave you. Take the square footage times 2 and add $10,000, okay? Most properties you're gonna need medium rehab, meaning updating the kitchen and the bathroom, but if you don't, just add a $5,000 cushion, but always multiply the square footage times 2. So you're gonna take, to find out the max amount of money that you can make on the property, follow the formula. Take the ARV, let's say 200,000 times 70%, that's 140,000, minus the rehab. The rehab is gonna be 1,500 square feet times 2, that's 30,000, plus the 10,000 cushion, that's 40,000. So 140 minus 40,000, it's 100,000. So the most you can offer for the property is 100,000. The rule of thumb is, from the price you pay, add 80 to 100,000, and that should be the ARV. Working the numbers backwards. Pay 100,000, it should appraise for 200,000, and the rehab should be less than 50,000. That formula works amazing to identify home run deals. So I'm going to share the screen to show you how you can get in touch with Frank, okay? If you choose to work with him, so let me share my screen. In ChicagoDealVault, under preferred partners, right here, we have over 300 preferred partners, okay? You can choose, I believe it's called real estate broker. Okay, so let me scroll down. Property management, right here, real estate broker. So here we have Frank's contact information. Okay, so we have his cell phone, his email. You can call him. He has 19 agents working for him. Okay, but always aim to work with the best. Now, if you are gonna do a home inspection, go to Home Inspector. We have George Wyatt. He's awesome. He's going to charge about $400 for a home inspection with a report. Please, this is our preferred partner, so feel free to use him. He's awesome. If you need an attorney, then we use Gary Davidson. Okay, so on the go to attorney, boom, right here, Castle Law, Gary Davidson. Okay, so in fact, he's amazing. He represented us in a closing last week. He was able to negotiate and cut down the closing cost fees. So by far, you're going to get the best services for the best money and quality using our preferred partners. Okay, just to mention a few. If you're going to do rehab, we have GCs, general contractors, electricians, plumbers, roofers, you name it. GCs, we have over 10. We've used most of them. So by all means, we share our contractors, okay, because I want to make sure that you are successful today, leveraging from our resources. So are there any other questions on the line? Great question. So let me answer another question by Richard. Can income properties be in search, or is this limited to single family home? Yeah, so income properties being the search, yeah, absolutely, Richard. So income properties could be single family homes, townhomes, condos, absolutely. Frank Montrose, so that's his contact information. Another question. Okay, are there any other questions? Feel free to unmute yourself or send it via the chat. Oh, can you type the name of the company? Wait, there's another question. How do you schedule a showing? Do you schedule it or does Frank schedule it for you? Frank will schedule the showing for you, and he's going to send one of his agents with you to show you the property. If you're a real estate broker, through the MLS, you can schedule a showing, but Frank is going to do that for you. Another question is, can you type the name of the company? I'm not sure what company, Nadia, you're referring to. Another question is, can income properties, we answer that. How do you schedule? Another question is, no need to put in inspection contingency, but what if something big came out of after signing the contract? Currently, one seller is asking, I'm collecting multiple contracts. So let me tell you, Vishal, I never want to waive the contingency if it's an MLS property. That's simple. If it's MLS property, I need to have an inspection, an attorney review. I never give that up. Unless it's a super distressed property that we need to do a lot of work, fine. I can waive it, but I'm going to do my due diligence before making the offer. When I see the property, I might bring the GC for him to see things that I might not be able to catch. Great question, Vishal. Another question is, how often do you update the preferred partners list? We update these every week. Okay, we've added over 300 preferred partners. Another question is, when Frank said he waives his commission, does he let listing agents take both sides of the commission? Yes, absolutely. So sometimes he waives his commission to get the deal. That's very common. Okay, the listing agent gets to keep both sides of the commission so that they can give you the deal. We've done that many times. In fact, some of the top REO brokers expect for you to give up your commission or your broker's commission. They want to take both sides of the commission if you want the deal. Another question is, this is MLS property? Yes, absolutely, MLS property. So Nadia, what company were you referring to? Please let us know. So friends, are there any other questions on the line? I want to make sure that you understand that making offers is what's going to make you money. Talking to leasing agents, talking to brokers, make sure you know your numbers, the ARV, that you know the rehab, and that you know obviously the max allowed offer that is based on the ARV and the rehab. But as a rule of thumb, without formulas, what you're going to pay for the property at $100,000 or 80 to 100,000, that's what the ARV should be, and the rehab should be less than 50,000. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining. We're going to be on the line for the next few minutes, and we're going to give you free access to DealVault. If you still don't have access to DealVault, please send out instructions. The promo code is Frank. Okay. So you can get free access for 30 days to ChicagoDealVault, access all our resources for the next 30 days for free. Promo code is Frank. Thank you. We're going to remain on the line for the next few minutes. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Let me answer any questions for those of you who are still on the line.